The Buffalo Bills may be planning a major trade in the 2025 NFL Draft to address their urgent need at the cornerback position. With Rasul Douglas still available on the market but no signs of a return to Buffalo, the team must find a reliable partner to play alongside Christian Benford. Although they signed Dane Jackson, he is not considered an ideal solution for a starting role. Chad Reuter of NFL.com suggested that the Bills could trade their number 30 overall pick in the first round, along with 2 fourth-round picks, to move up to the 24th spot, currently held by the Minnesota Vikings. This move would put them in an ideal position to select Florida State cornerback Rasul Thomas. Standing at 6 feet 1 inch and weighing 197 pounds, Thomas is a talented defender with strong man coverage skills, a crucial trait for Sean McDermott's system. Over 3 years in college, he recorded 2 interceptions and 15 passes defended. According to Ryan Fowler of the Draft Network, Thomas fits well in man-to-man coverage schemes, although his open field speed remains a concern against elite wide receivers. However, the proposed trade raises questions about the price Buffalo would have to pay. Moving up just 6 spots late in the first round at the cost of 2 fourth-round picks could be a steep price. Some analysts believe that if the Vikings don't send another pick back in the deal, it may not be worth it for the Bills. On the other hand, Minnesota has only 4 selections in this draft, and accumulating more picks could be a strategic move for them. If the Vikings don't have a priority target at number 24, trading down could be beneficial to strengthen their roster with more young talent. If this trade happens, Thomas could make an immediate impact on the Bills' defense. However, Buffalo might also explore free agency to add more depth at the position before the draft. The decision will depend on how aggressive the team wants to be in addressing this critical need. If the Bills make a strong push to trade up for Rasul Thomas, the move could have significant implications for the roster construction heading into the 2025 season. The cost of the trade must be justified by the player's immediate impact, especially considering Buffalo's salary cap limitations and other roster needs. Thomas possesses desirable physical traits for an NFL cornerback, including good length and ball skills. However, his recovery speed and ability to keep up with faster receivers remain question marks. For Buffalo, the issue isn't just whether Thomas is a good player, but whether he represents a significant enough upgrade to justify sacrificing 2 mid-round picks. The Bills have faced defensive challenges in recent seasons, dealing with injuries and inconsistencies in the secondary. Sean McDermott's defense needs players capable of executing reliable man coverage, particularly in a conference stacked with elite quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and C.J. Stroud. Conversely, the Vikings might see this trade as an opportunity to rebuild their roster with more depth. With only 4 picks in the 2025 draft, Minnesota needs to maximize its draft capital to address multiple positions, particularly on defense and the offensive line. Moving down 6 spots and adding 2 fourth-round selections could be a smart move for a team in transition. If the Bills fail to finalize this trade, they still have other options in the draft and free agency. Buffalo could select a cornerback available at number 30 or consider a smaller trade-up without giving up multiple picks. Veteran players like Stephon Gilmore and Xavier Howard could also be options to strengthen the secondary without sacrificing draft capital. The final decision will depend on Buffalo's internal evaluation of Thomas and the urgency they feel in addressing this need before the season begins. If the front office views Thomas as a potential immediate starter and a key piece for the future of the defense, the trade could make sense. Otherwise, pursuing more cost-effective alternatives might be the better approach. Regardless of which path the Bills choose, the 2025 NFL Draft promises to be a crucial moment for the franchise as they aim to remain competitive in the AFC and finally overcome the obstacles that have kept them from reaching the Super Bowl in recent years. If the Bills complete this trade and secure Rasul Thomas, expectations will be high for him to make an immediate impact on defense. The rookie will face significant pressure, especially since Buffalo has Super Bowl aspirations and will need a solid secondary to compete against the high-powered offenses in the AFC. Thomas will need to adapt quickly to the NFL level, facing elite receivers and sophisticated offensive schemes. The Bills' defensive coordinator must find ways to put him in favorable situations, utilizing his length and ability to contest passes. Depending on his performance in training camp and preseason, Thomas could start in Week 1 or split snaps with Dane Jackson until he gains more experience. If Thomas struggles early, Buffalo could find itself in a tough spot. The team has had issues in the past by relying too much on young cornerbacks without adequate depth. If that happens, the Bills may need to seek reinforcements during the season, either through trades or free agency signings. The draft day move could also impact other areas of the roster. The Bills still need to bolster their offensive line and add more weapons for Josh Allen in the passing game. Giving up 2 fourth-round picks might limit their ability to address these needs in a draft rich with mid- to late-round talent. Additionally, this potential trade could signal an aggressive approach from the Bills' front office to remain competitive in the short term. GM Brandon Beane has a history of bold moves, and this could be another example of his philosophy of acquiring immediate impact talent, even at the cost of future draft assets. However, if the trade doesn't materialize, the Bills will have to explore viable alternatives to address their cornerback situation. Other prospects, such as Kool-Aid McKinstry, Alabama, or Kamari Lassiter, Georgia, could be available at number 30 and provide solid options without the need to sacrifice draft capital. Another possibility would be pursuing a trade for a veteran cornerback. Some rebuilding teams may be willing to part with experienced defenders in exchange for future draft picks. This approach would give Buffalo an immediate solution while allowing Thomas or another young player to develop within the roster. No matter what happens, one thing is certain. The Bills must find an answer for their secondary, and the 2025 NFL Draft will be a pivotal moment in determining the defense's direction for the upcoming season.